Hello and welcome to another episode of Discover with Spinati. I'm your host, Dr. Spinati, and today's episode number 119. Going strong, 119, or it could be actually 120. I'm not very sure, but I think it is 119. It could be 120. Today we're talking about how life happens in waves, and the reason why this spurred to me is because whenever I get invited to things, I go all in anything that anyone invites me to. So if someone invites me to something, it's an event, whatever, I'm going to dress the best. If someone invites me to a gathering, like not a gathering, but like a group, a thought group, I'm going to go 150%. I'm not going to shy back and say, all right, well, let's see what other people do. I'm going to go 120%, 150%, 170% because that's the way that I do it. And so the reason why I thought, okay, I'm like life happens in waves. And the reason why I thought this way is because, waves are really cool. Like if you look in the ocean or look at, the pool, you'll see waves, right? It goes up and down. Well, sometimes when you're riding the waves and you're going up and you see, a lot of views. I don't know if you've ever gone surfing, but when you're above, right, the main land and you see a lot of things, you feel like you're on top of the world and everything's going your way. Same thing with life, right? So you're riding the wave is high, and sometimes your life goes in very long waves. So, you feel like everything's going well for a very long time, and then it just dips, right? And it dips for a very long time, right? But that's what it is. It's a wave, right? Like life can't be a constant. It's only a constant when you're not breathing anymore. Then it's a constant. But life happens in ups and downs. Sometimes life happens in very short cycles of waves, such as one day you have a good day and one day you have a bad day, and so on and so forth. But it's normal for you to experience disappointments. It's normal for you to experience setbacks because I experience it every day. Some days are good and some days not so good. And so, what do you do when days are not good? Actually, you know what? Even what do you do when days are good? When I see days are going my way and things are going well, I always think to myself, this is the opportunity for me to prepare for the next wave, for the next part of the wave, which is the bad day or the disappointing day. Because when you're feeling good, you feel the most creative, you feel the most confident, you feel like you can do whatever that you want and no one can stop you. And then when you're in the bad wave, well, the opposite happens, right? You feel drained. You feel like you have zero creativity. Your confidence is shot. Your ego is shot. And so then you can't wait until that part is done and then for you to get back into the good part. Well, if you want to shorten that bad part, that bad wave, that bad part of the wave, then prepare for it during the good time. Now, if you are in the bad part of the wave, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what do I do? The first thing they have to realize is that you are still in complete control of the outcomes of this part of the wave. Because if you fall victim to circumstance, then you can never be a leader in your own life, right? If it's either you fall victim to circumstance or you plan the events of your life. So you choose, right? The fact of the matter that you are in full control gives you actually a little bit too much goodness, and because it gives you too much goodness, then now you get confused, and that's where a lot of people fall into this trap of, well, I feel like I'm in control, but now what do I do? Right? I have 24 hours, I have 365 days a year, and I can do whatever it is that I want. And now you start thinking of the possibilities, but then you start thinking that you have so much time, and then you start to waste the time, right? You get on social media because now your brain is thinking about a lot of possibilities, and with a lot of possibilities means that you're going to have to be putting a lot of work, right? means you're going to be sacrificing a lot of the quote unquote pleasurable times so that you can really seek the advantage of you having all this time. And this is where everyone gets trapped, including myself. I mean, this is where everybody gets trapped, is that, we start thinking to ourselves, okay, well, if I'm in full control, I have all this time, what is it that I do? What is it that I should do? I don't know what to do. Let me do some research instead of diving right in with action. Let me do some research, or let me gather into a group and discuss some things, and then you just waste time. Or let me go on social media and get some of that dopamine, because it's very uncomfortable being in that zone of, I have a lot of options, but these options mean that I actually have to work. So if you're in that wave, that dip, if you're in that dip, you have to understand that you are still in control and you can still do a lot of things, but you just need to plan it. You need to really rethink it, and you need to actually just do action. So I was invited recently to this group by a good friend of mine, and he gathered a bunch of us business people, and then and he wanted to, do a meeting. He still wants to do the meeting. I hate meetings, right? Like, I hate them with a passion, because to me, I'm like, well, meetings to me are such a waste of time, because what are you going to do when you get around in a meeting, right? What are you going to do? You're going to be in a meeting, you're going to have opinions here, opinions here, opinions here, no action, right? Like, there's zero action. So when you have zero action, you're not going to get any results. Maybe you're going to feel good about the meeting, but you're not going to get any results. So to me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm really glad, I'm very honored to be included in this group, of business people, of high achievers. But let me tell you what I think works based on what I've done, based on my research, and based on my knowledge. I'm going to tell everybody in this group my secret sauce. I'm going to tell them what I have discovered to work. And so then I started dishing out all these secrets. Well, no one was ready for it, because to me, I said, well, look, I don't have time for meetings, but this is what works. So I know what the objective of this group is. So let me contribute towards this objective. Well, it came off as incredibly intense. And this is part of being in full control, is that you have to run things your own way. Like, you have to run things the way that you deem it to be, according to your own life. Are people going to like it? Most likely they're not. Are a lot of people are going to think that, you're too intense? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't think that I'm intense. I haven't met a soul that doesn't say I'm high intensity. Well, that's actually a good thing, because I don't know anyone in history that has succeeded without being highly intense. So it's only a matter of time. But this is it. When you're in control, you start liking the things that you do, and you do things on your own terms. And you start saying no to a lot of things. You start saying no to meetings. You start saying no to certain groups. You start saying no to, whatever it is. You start saying a lot of no's, because you understand that in order for you to achieve, you have to put in work. You have to do a lot of action. You have to make mistakes. You have to try this. You have to try that. You have to try multiple things. And then whatever works, then you have to research, and you have to ask, and you have to get mentors. All those things, all the above, I've done and continue to do on a daily basis. And so when you have figured out who you are, and there's only one way for you to figure out who you are, is for you to actually love yourself while doing the process, while actually putting in the effort, while actually putting in 120%, while facing the disappointments, while understanding that that dip in the wave is part of the process, but you're still in control, because you are putting in action every single day on a consistent basis. You're not wasting time. You have to really evaluate the things that you do when you're in that dip, when you're in that wave. You have to really evaluate it. And you have to really come to grips to say, okay, well, if I am doing my best, at every single point during the day, every single day, weekends or weekdays, then it's only a matter of time before that dip becomes a supernova, right? Like a huge wave that is like a tsunami that will take over. And then you'll understand why you've gone through all the process. But you have to understand that without you loving the process, without you understanding that the process is part of the dip, right? Like you have to be in that dip for a while before you can experience the rise. If you don't get that and then you just give up and you want to start something new, then you're not going to ever experience that very high wave. And if you ever experience that high wave in productivity and achievement and whatnot, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just have to trust the process. Nobody will ever fail if you stop trying. You can never fail if you stop trying. But if you stop trying, you're guaranteed to fail. So life happens in waves. And lastly, I should say that when you look around you and you compare your life to other people, and your life doesn't seem so rosy. And as you know, the statement as well as I do, the proverb, grass is greener on the other side. So no matter who looks at the other side, the grass always looks greener. So that's normal for you to feel that when you look at other people, that they have things figured out. Well, I'm here to tell you that I know thousands of people, and literally thousands of people. And I'm telling you right now, nobody has it figured out. The only person or the only people that have it, quote unquote, figured out are those people that love themselves during the process, meaning they do what they know is absolutely correct according to what they're trying to achieve. And they keep going in spite or despite of what other people may think. Because other people have opinions and everyone's going to have an opinion, but you only have your life. So treat yourself the way that you want to be treated and do not do things according to what you think other people are going to give you the best outlook. Love the process. Understand that the wave is going to go up eventually if you keep going. All right, my friends, that's it for today. It was a sincere kind of talk to you. And for those of you that benefited, that's great. I hope everyone benefited. Have yourself a great night, and we'll see you soon.